All right, good evening. I hope that everybody is doing great, as always. And I wanted to do a brief video on one topic. So, with psychic abilities, it seems there is always the question of, what's possible and that sort of thing. And is it valid or not? So, understanding these sorts of things, I think, really helps kind of clarify when you have a reading or talk to someone or watch something on television or YouTube, that sort of thing. So I wanted to kind of bring clarity around the idea of um, psychics being able to predict the gender of a baby. And in general, the best way I think to put it is possible in um, rare situations, but overall it's not something that can be done with full accuracy, because it is a very care it is a careful and like private sort of question that is handled very respectfully and that sort of thing, if information is sent from the other side. And to kind of preface how that works is, again, so this whole experience we're having, it's all physical evolution. We're a manifestation of that. And this wasn't created. And I know there's, all sorts of schools of thought on this, but so the way I understand it, so this is all physical evolution. This is our first time here. This is our one and only time. There's one physical universe, and that is it. So once we die, we are eternal, so we will live forever. But this is where we come from initially, at least we do. So those were here, that were born here. And that being said, so things aren't predestined. We do have free will, and that's another important fact there. So there's no past lives or karma or reincarnation. There's no predestination in that everything is absolutely set in stone. And so you can literally pinpoint every single moment of the future with full clarity. So that's not possible either. It is in certain cases, but not in a case like this. So with asking for the gender of a child, if the woman is not pregnant, for example, then it is just pure guesswork. So free will allows for that to be a choice up to her or the male, for example, or that sort of thing. So to say someone is going to have children or this many, or a boy or a girl, is just simply there's nowhere to get this information from. Simple as that. Now, that's not to say that psychics don't hear a message. And here's where it can be tricky with any sort of reading, actually. Like, let's say you're asking, let's say the couple's in front of you and the woman's not pregnant at all. So the psychic could still be hearing, like, a message coming from the air, or however they receive that information, saying, they're going to have a boy, or boy, they hear it's going to be a boy, something along those lines. This could easily be information that's kind of emanating from the client's soul, for example. So remember, we're made of non-physical. Our soul is a collection of data and information, and it's there in us at all times. So we can bring up memories and knowledge, and that's how we think and communicate and that sort of thing. So this database aspect, of our soul, it's there, and it's very fluid, and it's very easily accessed. And that being said, just like throwing a pond, a rock into a pond and how the water ripples, this sort of thing can really emanate from you, unbeknownst to you. So if you were really hoping for a boy, this sort of thing could be really coming off you, visually or audibly and that sort of thing. And that's what the psychic is picking up on. So that's where messages could come from. And of course, just because a psychic tries to guess in a situation like that, it doesn't mean they're just guessing, and lying and making it up. Absolutely not. So hopefully not. Of course, there's always people out there trying to be fraudulent, unfortunately, and that sort of thing. But more often than not, really mostly they're hearing or seeing something. So, it comes through as a message, which is easy to understand because I've experienced that too. And, if you're sitting there just trying to receive a message and you're hearing something, it's really easy to misconstrue or misinterpret that as to where it's coming from, and the reasons behind where that message is coming from. So that being said too, if the woman, next situation, so like if the woman is pregnant, let's say, she would have to be present to give her permission in order to be read, that sort of thing. So the husband can't, ask a psychic, what's the gender of my baby, that sort of thing. So that information is just not freely given out, kind of like down here. It's very much respected. So if they had a test, a physical test done, and then they ask a psychic to see if they can confirm that sort of thing, they may be hearing, they're still not getting the information anywhere. It could be, like emanating from the person's soul, that sort of thing. So the only way to accurately get that from the woman is to have her be present or somehow, speak with them and get their permission to do that. And there has to be absolute clarity on that sort of thing. So everything we do here is preserved. It is maintained and preserved for reasons of, to make sure no data is lost and everything is preserved holistically. So there's a process for that, which is another fascinating video. But that being said, this information is available in the afterlife if the woman is, pregnant, for example. But you can't just ask and get that information. You just can't ask for other people's health records, just like down here. There's strict laws in that. At least in the USA there are. So people's health and privacy, medical records are taken very seriously, even from here to the other side. So the woman would have to ask specifically, say I'm pregnant, could you tell me what the gender of my baby is? And that's all it takes, and then so once you have that permission, you can ask and get that from the afterlife. One way that someone may know, and you could receive like a valid actual message coming from the spiritual realms, is if the woman or husband or someone on earth, like there was a test and they know what the gender of the baby is, and then they share it with someone and that person dies, unfortunately, but they take that knowledge with them to the afterlife. So if they happen to come through to someone like a psychic or a medium, they can share that information, and that would be a valid message coming from someone in the afterlife who got that information from here on earth. So that's a possibility. Other than that, that's basically it. So I think this was great. It was fascinating stuff for me to ask and try to figure out how that works too. And that's the information I got, and I wrote it down to try and piece it together too. So hopefully it makes sense and provides clarity in that situation. That way, if you ever experience a reading or watch something, you know what's going on, for example. And like if the psychic gets it wrong, now you know why. It could be one of those situations, that sort of thing. So it helps kind of just bring overall understanding and like clear context to that question, which I think is great. So I hope this was informational and useful. Again, thank you for watching. If you like it, definitely thumbs up, and if you like the video, and subscribe if you'd like to. I don't even know how much. I have a ton of stuff that I'm just excited to continuously put out. Any comments, ideas, suggestions, dialogue, and emails, totally welcome as always, most definitely. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And of course, take care of yourselves as always.